episode 422, I think.
Quite a few episodes over
That is 420. I was like, fuck, I should know this because I did write it down just before, and then I was like, yeah, whacked it out. Mate,
Very
good to have you on here, mate.
Thank you.
I'm glad we've made it happen.
I know.
It is very, very exciting. We've shot messages to each other over the years, which has been awesome. And watching your success, I don't comment a whole heap, but whenever I'm having a coffee in the morning, I'm scrolling, seeing what everyone's up to. And
well, it's a shame too because you don't comment, and I'm often looking for those comments from you. I actually go through all my comments. And, where's Lachie Stuart? Very nice if he would once comment on my content.
I'm sorry, mate. I'll do better. I'll be better. That's my verbal commitment to everyone.
Well, I knew your brother through school, so your brother and I were a very similar age group, whereas you were a little bit older than us, but obviously we went to the same school.
Yeah, great school that. My brother's actually, I was literally texting him a moment ago. He's moving back from Canada. I haven't seen him in 5 years or something. He's married now.
South East Queensland.
Yep, coming. I think he's heading up to the coast, but he'll stay here for a few days, which will be good.
Excellent, very exciting. Be good to see him.
Mate, yeah, I haven't seen him for that long. I even stopped over in Canada one time and didn't see him.
True.
But that was when I was on a budget. I fucking struggled to have any money to do any extra stuff. But anyway, mate, you've been killing it the last couple of years, and as I said, I do watching your progression, and rapidly you've progressed in real estate, and you're an auctioneer as well, and you're absolutely just doing incredible things. And also, congratulations is in order as well, mate.
The recent engagement.
Yeah, we're all off the market.
I saw you bought a ring through Lachie Hogan, so I had to do the same.
Yeah.
And he did such a great job for us, so shout out to Lachie Hogan.
Yeah.
Hogan's Jewelers. Looking for quality, I should be in sales.
I was like,
you
might be an expert at sales. Some would think. I did read.
Far from an expert.
I did read though. You did 125 mil in sales. Was that last year or the year before, or when?
I don't recall. I don't really track the numbers.
Yeah.
I do track the reviews though.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing good numbers, I'm getting a lot of reviews from happy customers.
Yep.
And that's what I look at, and that's how I build a business through referrals.
Yep.
Much like yourself, it's all word of mouth. Hey.
Yep.
And that's really important.
How did you go from Toowoomba Grammar then to real estate? Was that something you always were interested in, or was there a little period of you didn't know what you wanted to do?
Very good question. No one out of their own mind goes, I want to be an agent if they're in year 12. No one does.
Yeah, true.
In fact, probably both of us wanted to pursue a rugby career.
Yeah.
I would have thought, well, definitely didn't work for me. Probably because of my frame. I'm
Mate,
very
you're
sure.
a unit.
However, what I did love was the competitiveness of sport.
Yep.
And I've now taken that competitive edge into business. And my business is all based on competition. Hey, competition will ensure that you get the best out of yourself. If there's someone else at the same commission and you're at that commission, why would they choose you over that person? And it has to come back to something else. Fire in the belly, hunger levels, and your ability to learn. And I just learned the fastest. I went and studied a property economics degree at QUT. I did all that stuff in the background because I wanted to be like the smartest agent in my market, know all the numbers, understand valuation. So I'm technically a qualified valuer as well through my degree. But not only that, I was a community guy. I'm a bit of an extrovert if you haven't picked up.
I know.
I thought I was an introvert, but I'm definitely an extrovert now, I have to admit that. And I worked behind a bar at Pacific Golf Club, met a whole bunch of golfing members that own property.
Do you play golf, mate? Or you just...
Yeah, very poorly.
Yes.
And what do you play off?
Mate, I don't even... The last time I had a handicap in Middle Ridge, Toowoomba, was like a fucking 20-odd, so don't worry.
So Steve, my father, plays there every week, twice a week.
Oh, really?
Loves it. Middle Ridge is his club. But anyway, Pacific, that's a tough course. Played there Wednesday. I sponsored the day every couple of months now. Met all these members, was studying at uni, met a guy over the bar as you do, sliding door moment. He happened to be the best agent in Harcourts, Australia, and said, what do you do? I said, study property economics at QUT, want to be a valuer or get into commercial. He said, bugger that, come have a coffee with me. So I had a coffee with him the next day. He said, I'm leaving this industry, but I've got a colleague, you'd be a great associate to work with him. You could work my database, it's all around here, go for it. So I took it on, and I just finished my degree. I just started in real estate sales early 2015. I'd still had sales background before then, as mortgage broker, work with my good friend George Samios at Mad Loans. There was still a little bit of stuff prior going on, and even my cousin was selling retirement villages on the Goldie.
Yeah, right.
But I'd always managed a couple of different jobs, many different hats, and I had like learning to do auctions and working at the bar at night and working through real estate at day. I was working so many hours. But again, the work ethic and then the competitive nature of sport helps you in business so much.
Definitely, mate. That is a whirlwind that you've been through. And it was cool that you were even open to the coffee, because a lot of people, I was thinking about it earlier, a lot of people get presented opportunities to go for a coffee with someone, or back I started in network marketing, mate, so I presented everyone a fucking opportunity. And a lot of people weren't open to the idea, but there's certain things that come across your lap that can legitimately change your life, even if it's not what the opportunity that's being presented. It could just be the fact that you've now met someone who can connect you to someone else, or give you, that list that you would give, like their database, for example, to sort of start building off. Sales, though, a lot of people don't like it. Like, a lot of people, when they think sales, are like fucking car salesman. That's what I thought, and then I started doing sales, and I absolutely love it. For you, what has been the benefit of learning to be good at sales? And obviously we're selling every day. I sold you on coming here to do a podcast.
I would have much appreciated you coming over to where I was. No, this is fun. This is the best location ever for it.
Mate,
how good is you at the back?
No, it is cracking.
And the parking as well.
Mate, it's always...
Do you like how I asked that in advance? That's how you know I'm often late. But I'm always coming from something, so that's a good thing too. But I guess your question is, why sales?
Why sales, and
how do we better ourselves as salespeople?
And also, what can you take from sales to improve your quality of life as well? Let's go 3 questions in that.
Wow.
That's
a big one.
We're going broad here.
That's a big one, because I feel like life is hard enough. Why put sales on top of it? I often think, why am I in real estate when I could be doing a 9 to 5, not take my work home, have enjoyable, balanced life? But no, I've chosen this other path, and I am so deep in it, I cannot get out of it. Do you know what I mean? But that's fine, and we've all signed up for whatever you've signed up for. I suppose, though, in answer to that question about sales and did you say bettering our life? Bettering
our life from it.
Okay, because sales to me is rejection and being able to deal with that. And everything in life, right, is a bit of a objection handle, I should say. How we handle that and how we react to something is how we become successful. Someone passes away, it's how we react to that. So we lose a job opportunity, it's how we react and how quickly we can overcome it. So if I'm sitting down with someone trying to get their business to sell their home and they go, we're actually going to go with someone else, but thanks for tonight. Of course I will ask, is there anything else I can do to make this happen tonight? We're here, I'm working late, I've got no kids, can we give this a crack? I'm going to work hard for you. So I always try and overcome stuff. But that's like in my personal life, something doesn't go my way, I just got to think about how I can react and overcome. And tax bills that come out of the blue, you just got to pay and bite the bullet. There's no point arguing them. It's life. So I guess that's an attitude there, and it's a mental ability to overcome. I've always been quick to overcome.
I think it's an important thing, though, tying it back into, I believe everyone should give sales a crack, because as you touched on, I was going to talk about that shortly, is rejection. Like, a lot of people are not doing what they want to be doing through fear of rejection, through fear of criticism, through fear of failure. But then more to the point of when you think about rejection, it's how do you respond, react, problem solving. There is a lot of shit going, like there is so many people are unhealthy, physically and mentally, and they aren't sitting there going, what can I do about this? Should I learn about nutrition? Should I learn some things to improve my mental well-being? Should I learn how to sleep better? Or should I learn how to get in the gym? We just go, I'm fucked, that's it, hands up, problem, and find the easy solutions. And
if weak man's mindset, strong man's mindset is, how do I do this better? Even when you don't feel like going to the gym, we turn up. Even when I don't feel like going to work or making the call to let someone know their contract's fallen through and they've bought something else, they've sold their home, the sale contract has fallen through, now how are they going to buy this? How do I make that call? It's not enjoyable, but I got to get on with it and I got to deliver the facts.
How do you deal with that, though? Because that would be I would imagine, a pressure cooker situation.
Very much so. When you're doing volume, you got to think there's more of those calls to make, hey? Because if you sell 100 homes a year, 10 of them are not going to go to plan, right? The other 90% would be excellent if they all go to plan. Sometimes that's not the case, but 10 will definitely not go to plan. That's just life. And it's how we try and find another buyer or try and find another solution to the outcome to help them with their property journey, hey? Because sometimes people let you down. That's life. But also circumstantially, sometimes buyers can't get finance or there's an issue with the building and pest inspection report that hadn't come up prior. It's how we overcome that, and we're in a really crossroads situation there when you're buying and selling a home. It's emotionally, it's some of the peak of what you'll experience in life, because there's so much on the line. It's your biggest asset.
Yep.
So buyers and sellers, they're worked up at that time. So if I'm not centered and calm in the delivery of the message, when I want it to go down a certain path, it could also go pear-shaped if they sense that my energy's off.
Yep.
So that comes back to meditation, it comes back to going to the gym in the morning, daily routines. All of it, funnily enough, comes back to what you preach every day.
Yep. And because you are one of the leading sales agents for Harcourts, or you are the...
I wouldn't say, no, by far, definitely not number one, but I'm coming for you, Ptolemy Stevens. No, we're in the top 10, and we're very consistently there.
Yep.
A lot of agents will fluctuate each quarter in and out, but we'll always be in it.
Yep.
But we've been number one once, we want to be number one again, but that's not the be-all and end-all. The be-all and end-all to me is being a community agent. I live in my area.
Yep.
My neighbours know me, I've sold both their properties, the neighbours across the street, everyone know, like it's intense.
Yep.
Because I'm always on show, I feel.
Yep.
I go down to the local IGA Carina and I bump into 5 clients. It's just is what it is.
Yep.
It's something I've had to manage too, and you probably have a little bit of that going on. I know your partner definitely does. That's life, hey. When you have a bit of a profile, you're going to start to get on show, and then people also will try and start to bring you down as well. I've noticed the first people to try and bring you down is your friends.
Yep.
Not necessarily family, they always want the best for you, but sometimes your friends, they want to have a crack because you're doing really well. And that's just Australian society, the tall poppy syndrome sort of kicks in as well. I feel like we're going off tangent a little bit. I'm just trying to come back to the bigger picture. It's not about number one and that stuff, because that's ego. And the minute you drop ego, you don't start to get your mates bitching about you and whinging, you showy, this, that. Because now we've sort of dropped that out of it, and now it's about community, getting the most reviews, doing the right thing by families, and now mums and dads at the local schools are talking about, that's when you know you're doing good business.
Yep. And
not when you're at the Callowell on a Friday night.
Yeah. I hate that place. But the reason why I wanted to touch on the fact that, it's results, right? Results based is, as you said, servicing your clients, getting great reviews, being a member of the community. I wanted to tie that into the fact that the standards, a lot of this is about the standards that you set for yourself, right? You're a driven, ambitious bloke who has a high set of standards. You said you're meditating, you're getting involved in the community, you're going to the gym when you don't feel like it, also that you can show up as the best version of yourself, because it doesn't matter if you're, in the 9 to 5 hours when you're on show as an agent or doing open homes, etc., but you're always on show because you are your brand. And I think it's really important to highlight for a lot of people, and I work with a lot of successful people, such in a range of different industries, but what I see are a few common patterns, right? And it's not just about they were born with a silver spoon or anything. It's like hard work, problem solving, negotiation, resilience, prioritizing yourself, obviously, because you are the vehicle that can deliver the results for your clients and obviously create that life that you want for yourself. And the first thing that a lot of people sacrifice under pressure is their health, is their relationship, is time with their mates. And it's like, well, then they're just pushing themselves down this terrible rabbit hole of misery, is the way I look at it.
It's a lonely journey when you're in that top 10%, if you want it to be lonely.
Yep.
If you don't want it to be, and you're willing to put more time and energy into friends, family, and socialising, look, that's exhausting, don't get me wrong. I'd rather sometimes be on the couch watching the footy than being out sometimes, but you've got to make that little extra effort. And the amount of times I've gone to that extra engagement party or wedding and brushed shoulders with someone who's turned around and gone, I'm actually thinking of selling my house. I'm not going to those events to do business, but it's just an opportunity that arises because you're putting yourself out there, and you've got to make an effort with friends too. You can't not show up to those things sometimes, even though it's so easy to just cancel, reschedule them. They're your mates, and I still hang out with, there's one particular mate who I went to school with, Dom Watt. I'll still try and catch up with Dom so regularly, right? He's a Maringan West boy. And Dom and I are still tight. We don't see each other all the time, but we pick up where we left off because we've put muscle in the relationship, because we both try and make an effort to go and have a steak at the Norman or whatever.
Yep. I love that, mate. That is such an important thing. And once again, for all those who are losing, every day or every week or every time you communicate with your mates, you're selling them on why they should continue to be a friend. And I think, once again, people go, oh, that fucking sounds disgusting, but it is. It's like, well, are you putting effort in the relationship? A sale is essentially you
it's
adding
a deposit or a withdrawal.
Yeah, exactly, right? And a lot of people wonder why they may not have the friends in their life, or they wonder why after 10 years of not talking to your wife properly. I said this all the time. Like, oh, my wife wants to leave me. I'm like, well, have you been putting deposits in the relationship, or have you just been going home, sitting on the couch, drinking beers and carrying on with your workday, which is a common thing, right? And it transfers once again into your relationships. I have I think I'm up to 8 now, 8 mates in my favorites list that I try to call every week just to check in. I don't want anything from them. It doesn't need to be a long conversation, just fucking 3 to 5 minutes. How you going? What's been going on? How's the family? Boom. And then when we catch up again, it feels like you're still back at school and you see each other every day.
That's interesting that you're so process driven.
Yeah.
But that's how you've got to be, isn't it?
Well,
if you really want to be taken seriously as a friend or in business, you sort of have to have processes and systems, hey? And one of the, we shouldn't think of it that way, but one of them is just regular touch base.
Yeah.
And that's what I do in my business. And I guess we try and do it on a personal friendship level as well. When we go and have a steak at the Norman, it's just a catch up face to face.
Yep.
It's much like, I just jumped off a phone call when I parked underneath you before.
Yep.
And he's like, mate, send me through the documentation. I want to just sign it today, whatever, via DocuSign. That's cool. Love that. But I really want to get face to face with you as well. When can I see you next?
Yep.
Because face to face, that's a trust building exercise for me. They see me in person, they see my energy. They know what they're getting, whereas they don't see the value when it's over a DocuSign or on an email.
Correct.
And I've got a great team with Julie, Nico, and Igor, guys that are really good on face value. Yeah, we're okay over the phone, but we've got to be face to face if you're going to buy us.
Yep.
And you're buying the house, you're not buying us, but we are a major part of that process.
Yep.
To getting that extra bit of money or negotiating a better outcome for our seller who we work for. So again, whether it's a business or a friendship, there's so many processes going on.
Exactly.
But they need to be actioned and consistent, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I guess it's working through that thing, because when you say processes, I'm like, fuck, it sounds like everything's just business, but
a bit robotic.
Yeah.
CRM I've never really been good at CRM systems, by the way. I'm hopeless at them, but the best agents in the world apparently use these systems. I don't use them.
Yep.
So that means that on a given day, I'm meant to call someone to ask them X and then put in the comments Y.
Yep.
I'm not good at that. I'll never do it. And our business is booming and I haven't done that at all. And I think that's, people like that as well. It's not scripted. I'm not computerized.
Yep.
Hello Lachlan, it's Patrick. Would you like an appraisal? I'm Huggle. No one wants that. But it'll just come naturally.
I have a good laugh if I got that phone call though.
Yeah, you probably would. I would never make that phone call though, so you won't be laughing.
Yeah, bugger. But I think as well it's moving through those, because it goes from process to habits, right? And the habits that we have determine a lot of the outcomes that we gain in our life. And once again, many of us, myself included, have bad habits that aren't really adding value, and a lot of them are from childhood. But when we get clear on where we want to go and who we want to become and the results that we want for our life, we can start asking ourselves, what habits do I need to have in order to get there? As you said, you don't use it, mate. The amount of CRMs I've signed up for that I don't use purely because it's the same thing. It's like, I'll just call them and, if I forget where they're at, I'll ask them. It's like, I'm not a fucking robot, so let's just do it that way. And we bring our personality.
I think it's a little bit more authentic of you anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I like it. I've forgotten where I was going with my train of thought now.
Do we want to talk about the come up in sales? Because everyone's got a different come up.
Yeah, let's get that.
Okay, so straight out of school, no real sales background. And I think that's a good thing. My parents weren't agents, whatever. I didn't have habits that I could fall into.
Yep.
On the contrary though, I think it would be a major leg up to have a parent as, a given industry that you're looking to go into, because they can give you mentorship and guidance free advice. You're not feeling like you're bugging them. So my kudos to, people who've grown up in that sort of family. I could name a handful of them. They're great guys and they're doing really well because of that. But yeah, there was no leg up. It's all sort of from the ground up is how I'd really like to say it. And it literally has been a major come up from cold calling and all the canvassing from the beginning to these days. There's not much of that going on because it's a lot of referral based business. But there's that 7-year period of a lot in between where, again, it's deposits and withdrawals in relationships with people. So much like we just talked about friends, you're putting, things in letterboxes, and then you're following that up, and then you're offering them a free coffee voucher in that next distribution of letters, and then they see a signboard go up, then they start seeing your Instagram and Facebook posts on socials that are being sponsored, and then they start following that, and then you call them to see if they like it. Like the appraisal call comes in after the 7th touch base or contact, right? Because you've deposited, and then you've asked for a withdrawal on the 7th. And even then, they could say, I'm not selling for years, that's great. Then you've got years to build a relationship with them where they get a bottle of wine at Christmas time, and then a scented candle on their anniversary of their house purchase, and all of a sudden it's Pat Ivey branding on everything.
Yep.
And it's just so intimidatingly there that they just think property, they think yourself. So it just takes years, but you've just got to have that layering effect, hey, in sales of any form, to go, well, how's your socials looking? Is your online and your offline in line? There's a famous saying around that, to make sure that you're authentically yourself and that people speak highly of you and are happy to do good business with you. And you've got great sales on your realestate.com or great sales reviews on your given platform. It's so important that there's congruency in business. But again, I was just saying before that all comes down to your daily routines and stuff, because there are going to be days you don't feel like making the prospecting calls or making, the calls to say, sorry, the deal's fallen through. But where that's come from is the strength to get up and go to the gym and squat 110 or whatever, and it feels uncomfortable, but you're getting under resistance.
Yes.
And then you're getting it off your shoulders. It's like that call, that's how I see it. Resistance, and then it's done. And I feel so much better for it. So that's why I try and get it done first thing in the morning.
That's a brilliant way to do it. What's the biggest challenge you've faced in your career to date where it has felt like, you've thrown probably 150 on the bar and it's going to be hard to get up from? Have you had one of those moments?
Several times. I feel like I've bit off a lot more than I can chew, but then I chew like crazy, the old saying.
Yeah.
And it's so true, like we've now listed 25, 30 homes. That's a lot. But because I've done it before, like an elastic band, I feel like I can do even more.
Yeah.
But I'm taking now prestige listings as well, higher end homes. Demands naturally are higher end client, which is higher maintenance client. And so they should be. They expect more for their money. They're paying higher fees at that level of the market. And I know Matty Lankley.
Yeah.
So my hat goes off to Matty because he does it on every single deal. Everything's high end. Whereas I've got maybe 50% high end, 50% at entry level, $1 million stock. But the other stuff's now in the twos, well and truly, and that's where I really want to be moving my focus. So they're probably what I mean by biting off a little bit more than you can chew. They require more time and energy, which I've got plenty of. I've got energy. I don't have children. I'm not married yet. And
that's around the corner for you.
It is, and she's thinking Toowoomba of all places.
Really?
I think that's a great idea.
How would that? So for you, like you've set up in the region that you're in, Carina, how would it go for you moving to Toowoomba? Would you just start again?
I'd never move there. I'd say have our wedding there.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant I thought you meant you were setting up there. I was like, good.
Because I got family still there,
Yeah.
And your parents still have them.
Yeah, they are. I thought you meant you were going to be moving back. I was like, that's
definitely not.
Yeah, well, there's been moments where I'm like, Amy, we should move back to Toowoomba. She's like, no.
Yeah.
We've got a house there, but that's it.
Look, it's a brilliant town. And it's my town to get away from the hustle and bustle.
Yep.
I just feel like there's less pretentiousness in Toowoomba.
Yes.
It's straight out. But Brisbane's where the money's to be made.
Yep.
This is dollar productive central.
Yep.
Especially have a look over here, Queen's Wharf. What's that going to bring to the city? 10 years time, Olympics. There's so much good to look forward to.
Yeah.
This is the place to be. It's better than the Gold Coast, in my opinion. Noosa is lovely. I love the sunny coast, but I reckon having bases on the coast is what I'd work towards.
Yes.
So in the future, I'd like to have a base in Stanthorpe, base on the sunny coast, base on the Goldie, and just have Airbnbs and be in Brisbane as my core focus. But wouldn't that be goals?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
But yeah, coming back to it, I'm fully off track now.
That's all right. But I was going to sort of try.
Imagine if we actually talked about this podcast before we came on the show.
But this is what's the best part is because
we would have some structure.
I'm just curious. I don't like structured podcasts. It's just like it's boring.
Yeah.
But this is fun. But one thing you mentioned, which I'd love to dive into more. You said Matty Lake's obviously an incredible agent doing a lot of prestige stuff. You're 50% and then 50% on different size valuation houses. what has it taken for you to be able to get closer to those prestige things? Because I look at, for example, when I started business, I wanted to make $1 million. That was the first goal. What I learned pretty quickly was the environment that you're around can definitely give you a leap up, as we spoke about earlier. I didn't have any seven-figure earners in my environment, nor did they want to hang out with me based off how I was thinking, acting, and behaving that time. So I had to put in a lot of legwork to grow as an individual, to then have people going, oh fuck, this guy, pretty much social media everywhere, it's like, Lachie's there, Lachie's working with this person, bang, 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 and then they invite you to things, right?
Frequency builds trust. You were frequently in front of them.
Yep. And so is that sort of, what did that process look like for you to then get to these bigger listings, the more prestige listings? Is it similar to what you just said, the being fucking everywhere?
Yeah, very much so. I think that a lot of these homeowners or developers know you years out from when you're actually doing the deal with them. Yep. And the sad thing is they'll use 2 or 3 different other agents before you even get a crack.
Yep.
And this is, again, over the years process. So long-term business mindset in sales can't be in it for a quick buck. Goodbye. You'll be out in 6 months. Revolving door industry that we're in.
Yep.
You know, this is sales. Welcome to it. Get used to it. It's a long time before you're going to start earning money. And then when you do start earning it, it's very quick to lose a good reputation. Takes a long time to build one. Minutes you can lose one. So you really got to be authentic with that as well. And someone like Matt, you know, he's been doing it even longer than I have. And, you know, he would, every level there's another devil. He would agree with that statement in that every year you go up and you grow a rent roll, then you got more issues with landlords, then you're growing more staff and you got more staffing issues, then you've got more higher end homeowners, and the volume, as I said to you before, there's always 10% that will go south for some whatever reason, out of our control. I suppose you've just got to be better with dealing with those situations, and how you handle them comes through assertiveness and calmness, which is all what we've learned from the ground up.
Yep.
But if you haven't had that experience prior, you know, you can't just be, here's business, here's money. Imagine winning the lotto. That's why all the lotto winners lose their money within
3 years or something.
Yeah, correct. And they end up broken because they don't know how to handle it. But you were saying before about your environment, who you hang out with and associate with. Of course, you are the average of. So if you're changing your circles for the better, well, that's probably a good thing because you're leveling up. And then instead of going through those mistakes yourself, maybe you can learn off them to avoid the mistakes being made. Definitely. So leveraging your network for that reason would also be helpful. Yeah,
that's powerful. And as you said, it's that experience. A lot of people want to jump the queue. We just want success yesterday. And you got to eat shit for a number of years to really understand it. But the most important thing, I believe you said, was the mindset around it, being prepared to suck in order to get better and deal with the problems when they come. Because every problem just around the corner, you're like, yes. You know, for me, when I got my business to this point, I was like, I'm going to be surfing every day. I'm going to have freedom, flexibility. And it's like, nope, you've got a whole new level of challenges I now have to continue to grow through. And it's, you know, you've got 2 options. Either just go back to where I came from, which I don't want to do.
That's not an option.
Yeah, it's not a fucking option. And I love the challenge. Much like you, it's competitive. It's like the game of business. It's fun.
Like when you go get yourself into some debt, right?
Yep.
2 ways to look at it. Oh shit, this is no good. I want to get out. Nah. Buy more, get in more debt. It'll force you to get up early, get your shit done, put on an extra team member, spend that little bit of extra money, buy that extra prop, do whatever you can to stay uncomfortable and get comfortable being that way. I reckon that's been the greatest advice I've ever been told, is to get used to it and harden up. And again, that comes back from a sporting background in rugby. You do contact on a Tuesday.
Yeah, true that.
No one likes to do it. But shit, it makes you better.
Especially small when it's fucking cold, man.
Yeah, proper cold. And when the contact pad, don't leave them off. Really.
That's why I played in the backs, mate. Because you just flick your hair.
I thought you were a 7 or you were 13.
No, mate, I played 15, 10,
really?
12, yeah.
I thought you were a 7. At first 15.
No, I wish I was. Imagine that.
Interesting.
I
had a lot more respect for you coming into this.
Everyone's like, you look like a mongrel. Probably because of that photograph when I was at Rangers and in the rain and beard and stuff. And I looked tough, but I wasn't.
Okay, interesting.
It's all perception.
Very much
perception. So. But let's rewind and just picture I'm a 7.
Can I? Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Can I ask you a question? I'm interested to know. say you go away on holidays.
Yep.
Or even a Sunday. Let's just peel it back. You know, when you're in sales, the mind doesn't stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're often thinking about things, overthinking. I forgot this, I forgot to do that. It's a brilliant thing to have, is a mind that never stops.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you look at what happened to Paul Green recently in men's health. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How do you handle a mind that doesn't stop ticking? I'd imagine yours doesn't. You know, can you just literally sit there by yourself in stillness and read a book and do that on stuff? Or do you struggle to do that because you're thinking and you're glued to your phone? Because I'm really struggling with that, I'll be honest with you. On a Sunday, it's my only day off. And I'll be on my phone I'll be checking for work.
Yep.
Feeling almost guilty that I'm not working on a Sunday.
I'm glad you brought that up because so Darren, who was on yesterday, is a good mate of Greenie's, and we spoke about this. We actually had this conversation last week as well, going, how do you switch off? Because obviously Functional has been hit with the flood stuff, and all businesses were affected by COVID. And I was saying the same thing to Darren. I was like, mate, does it get to a point where you reach a level of success where you feel like you can switch off? Because you ask my wife, you ask anyone that knows me, it's like I'm always on. Like always, even if I'm fatigued, I'm fucking on. I'm like, all right, I can do content on this, should network with this, I've got to send this person an email. And I'd love to have a good answer for you there, but what has worked well for me is like I chunk certain times of things and I can't have my phone around me, but I also need to know that there's time allocated in every day. I work on my business 7 days a week where I have the time to implement something that I've been thinking about. And if I tried, like when I was overseas recently, I still had to work. And for me, when I say work, like I genuinely enjoy what I do, and some people may say that, you know, you should switch off and refresh, but I am refreshing. I'm just taking note and then I'm looking to implement certain things. So whether it's sending an email to a team member saying, hey, this is what's got to be implemented, I'm not doing it, you do it, it's just brain dumping.
So getting it out of your mind.
Yeah, I have to get it out of my mind. But like I've said, even on a Sunday, for example, Sunday afternoon, I plan the week ahead or just solidify everything. But that's when I think about, okay, when am I training? What meetings do I have to have? What leads do I need to get back to? And I think about that all day. But because I now know that I've got 30 minutes to 45 minutes in the afternoon, I can sort of switch off a little bit easier to know that that's going to get done then. Let's enjoy whatever I have throughout the day. I'm also very lucky. Obviously, Amy's the polar opposite to me, and so is my brother-in-law. Like they just blow with the wind, you know, like tumbleweed, which is awesome. Frustrating, but also awesome because it's taught me to be more present and to let things go. So I'm sort of leveraging off.
So you're a control freak?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
100%.
And it's a burden, but it's also a benefit in business.
Yeah, and I think in life and in business, it's George and I went for a walk last week, and he was talking about his inability to focus, and mine is like I'm hyper focused because I'm always thinking about what needs to be done, and I think it's like a muscle. So because you and I, for example, are so used to being on, thinking about what we're working towards, what we need to do in order to get there, it's very hard in that hour or two a day that you have to slow down when 10 hours a day you're on. Does that make sense? It's like a couch potato for them to stand up. If you've been in a bedridden for fucking months, trying to stand up again, muscle atrophy. You don't have the muscle there. So I think it's all about also training that as well. And once again, I'm not good at that, and I don't want to sit here and say I want to be good at that because I know exactly what I'm here to do, and it's like I'm not going to achieve that by having days off. And I don't feel fatigued. Like I genuinely love learning. My whole business is built around what I do anyway: training, fucking traveling, working on my mental fitness, networking with people, hoping to help people feel better. So I love doing that. Does that answer your question?
Kind of, yes.
What's the kind of bit that it didn't? Do you want an exact
I just want to know if you get fidgety if you're not working or doing things to progress.
Yeah.
I think any ambitious male or female who loves what they do so much struggles on Sundays a little bit. I'm just using Sunday, and that could be taken as holidays as well, because I'll go, great, looking forward to going to Pottsville or Hayman, and I'll get there and I'll put the bags down and I'll just be like, wow, I feel like I'm going backwards. You know what I mean? I need to be doing it, making calls, but we literally need to switch off to recharge to get better. But you're saying that you can just put your phone away for a little bit, be present to the moment. Anything that you need to brain dump and write down, great, you'll outsource it and do it.
Yep.
And then you'll have a few drinks and carry on.
Yep.
And try and recharge. Is that what you try and do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that's so important. As we get busier, we need more downtime.
It's about living.
Otherwise, we'll burn out.
Yeah.
Have you ever burnt out?
Yeah, a number of times. Once again, Amy now is like my prod when she knows I'm getting to that point because I become short, snappy. I stop. Once again, health is like my main priority and I know what it makes me tick, but if I get really busy and under the pump, it's like I minimize my training sessions. I start skipping the sauna. I'm not reading, and it's just like because I'm trying to keep up.
You get in ice baths and everything.
Yeah.
So there is a way to get around it.
Yeah, but I think it's really just making sure you rely on and lean on the structures that you have in place that you know are benefiting you. Like spending time with your partners, making sure you do have that downtime, exercising, eating. I was going to ask you about this, like dealing with stress, for example. I know a lot, especially lawyers and real estate agents, the way they deal with stress is going for boozy lunches and getting on, having a nice party and stuff. And for me, that's not how I deal with stress anymore. I used to. For you, how do you deal with, blow off a bit of steam?
Okay. It starts in the morning, obviously. Gym is the best stress relief you could ever ask for.
Yep.
Let's agree on that.
Yep.
Through the day, obviously, there's going to be ups and downs. Every day it seems to be quite hectic for me at the moment. There's a settlement, and then there's a contract that falls through, and then there's a listing that we sign, then there's a listing that we lose. All of this stuff happens in one day, and then I'm making 100 calls either side of those activities to try and get business. We're always prospecting for new business, and a lot of those calls don't go your way, they go with someone else, whatever.
Yep.
So it's just like at the end of the day, you're so exhausted and scattered that you need to get home. I'll often, and I'll admit, I'll have a glass of red or two, and it just is my stress reliever.
Yep.
I love it. I look forward to it. It's Michaela and I's downtime. We love to crack a bottle.
Yep.
That's just what we do because we're in the same line of work. We know how challenging a lot of these people can be, but we can't take that on board. We just got to move on. And then, I'll just try and de-stress by putting a show on and put my phone away. But I do struggle with that. The phone will still be going off till 8:30 every single night. But from 8:30, I'll then put it away.
Yep.
Because there's got to be a line in the sand. If I want to be in bed by 9:30, there's 60 minutes of less blue light and less thinking about my business. You got to be careful. Sometimes I have, and I'll just admit, opted to maybe have a Valium or two, whatever, just to help me because there is so much stress that my doctor's actually written it out because of where I'm at in life. But you don't want to get addicted, or you don't want to have to resort to that. You want a wine's fine, I think. And if you can even avoid having any drinks at all, and my hat goes off to anyone in business that can do it, and there's a lot of them that do really well, just don't even drink at all. But it is a relaxer. I do use it to that, and I love a wine with a steak, and I love eating steak. So maybe that's my answer. Eat more red meat.
No, but we've just solved it. I like it.
Sorry if you're vegetarian on here.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Everyone should eat meat. No, I'm gonna get hated for that. Yeah, no. Eat what you like. It doesn't bother me. But in saying that, as well, I've cut out alcohol.
That's impressive.
No, I cut out alcohol during the week. I got my Scotch collection out the front. I love my red wine and stuff. But I use these Whoop bands to track a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of data around it and how it impacts your sleep, and obviously how that impacts various other things. And for me, I'm always trying to optimize my mood because I'm, struggling with the whole reason why I'm in this line of work is my mental health has always struggled, and Amy will always be like, you're just a fucking prick when you're drinking. I'm real snappy, I'm moody and carrying like that, and that's not how I want to be as a husband, as a mate. So for me, it's about sort of looking after that side of things, because a lot of people drink and wonder why they are snappy, I wonder why they are moody, and for me it's like, okay, well, there's things to look at, but when you're energetic, you're outgoing and stuff like that. So for you, if it's not an issue for that,
I definitely think it would be an issue. It's toxic, alcohol, and I'll try and just drink to enjoy the drink, not drink to get fucked. I'm not into that anymore.
Mate, you can't have grown up in Toowoomba if that's your mindset.
No, I've really grown up. But yeah, like where, you know, I really enjoy going out and to SKs, and that's my happy place.
SK's
you know,
nice, isn't it?
we might have thrown Carlisle under the bus, but
Yeah,
SKs, they really pulled
to
it
be
up.
fair, I look.
Yeah.
It's Carlisle is nice when you go there. You're like, this is quite nice, but
it's just really pretentious.
Yeah,
and
very,
SKs is too, but I love their food.
Yeah.
And their wine. It's a happy place.
Yeah.
And you work so hard, 6 days a week. Sometimes I like going there on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
It's a special place. So that's where I like to really enjoy a nice wine, because I've worked for it, and I just know that's like the luxury that I've worked for. And other people have other luxuries, but I just like the finer stuff because I've worked so hard for it.
Yeah. I want to ask one last question.
Sure.
For you. How do you prioritize your relationship while having a lot on at work? Because once again, it's an easy excuse to go, I'm busy, I'm tired, can't make that. To then, obviously, you're getting married, giving a lot of yourself to a relationship, being in a position of trust and love. Like, how do you prioritize? Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It's
picking up the phone.
Because we're in the same line of work, it's okay. I feel like it's manageable because she knows that I work late hours. She signed up for that. I don't start early though, so sometimes like this morning, we snuck away for a quick brekkie day. Works perfectly. You just got to work to your schedule. Hey, most people will do 9 to 5. You know, I'll do 10 till 8:30 or 10 till hopefully no longer than 6:30 at the moment, because I like to get home and, you know, take calls from home instead of doing face-to-faces after 6:30. It's a bit late. So yeah, just understanding each other's schedules and appreciating that. Being in the same line of work helps in that regard, but it also means that we're always talking real estate, right? So you marry the game. And then, really just like everyone does, book your holidays in advance. That's all I can say is have something to look forward to. Have date nights to look forward to, the SK thing. And we did a Torbrick wine tasting night the other night at Barrel and Stills at the Drapery, which I used to live there. Great little building, knew the boys downstairs really well, and they remembered us, and we used to go there all the time. And yeah, I like going to places where we know the business owners. Not because you get well served, of course, but I like giving back to people that look after me, and they often refer me business, or people in those businesses like at Thai Antique Aurelio's down in Carina Heights, like they're your 2 local restaurants. They'll always send me someone who's looking at selling, but I'll go in there and spend hundreds of dollars anyway. So it's just what goes around comes around. So if we're doing a date night, we might do it at one of those businesses that we're both renowned in, or we just want to support them because we're good people and want to give back. So, and it forces us to get out of the house. I think that's what you're getting at, is it needs to show a bit of effort. Balanced relationships comes from still doing the dating and stuff that you did in the first place. And just making time for each other.
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. Where can people find you on socials and all of that sort of stuff?
You probably don't want to find me. I'm not that interested. But Instagram's @Ivey_. And Facebook, I've got my business page, which is just Patrick Ivey. That's my Harcourt's sort of Facebook page where I put all my listings and sales and whatever, which is really not that exciting. But Instagram's where you'll find me. I reckon that's the place to be. It's my favourite. How good's Reels?
I love it, mate. To be honest, building them is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it is. I was watching Brisbane vs Parramatta. Actually, I wasn't going because it should have stayed over. And I was just sitting there and just putting a reel together because I was watching Parramatta score and score and score on the goodbye finals chance. Luckily, I'm a Cowboys supporter, so it doesn't matter.
Mate, I'm a dog supporter. It's been tough.
But you know what? Next year's looking good. Villiamy, Kikau's coming. Burton has been in the form of his career. And he'll do it even better next year. Addo Carr and him are dangerous down the side. So I reckon Dogs will be a really contender next year.
You heard it here first. Paddy said it.
Top 8 next year. Mark my words.
Is there any last bits of wisdom you'd give for an up and comer or a young fella who's really looking to create a great life for himself and really have that competitive edge as well?
Have a long-term mindset. Farmers, they plant the seed, they water it, takes months for the thing to grow, right?
Yeah.
Be a farmer. You know, this is a layering effect business. It's going to take time to build your reputation and trust. Do it frequently, little deposits. We've touched on all of this today. And you will find over time that it'll create this snowballing effect where each year you start to get bigger and better. And then, again, with that comes another devil, but in itself, which is a whole different conversation. But in the come up, do the right thing by people. build the muscle in the relationship with people and your friends.
Yep.
You want to be spoken highly about, well, that comes through your level of service. Make sure you know your craft, you're good at your craft, and you know your numbers, because people like to deal with people that know their shit.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks for coming on, Paddy. It's been a pleasure, mate.